You give it.
Hello. Hello.
Well, it's been a while, hasn't it? Look, I'm filthy. I've just been putting cream on. Well, assisting Rachel and putting cream on Casimir.
How was he?
Yeah, he was fine. He did. As soon as we put the cream on, he wanted to go for a roll, little sod.
Hello. Sorry we're late.
Hello.
I had a bit of an internet issue, but we seem to be okay now. Can you see us and hear us okay?
Let's hope so. Oh, no, she's frozen. Oh, no, you haven't. Now you're back.
Okay, great. All right, let's get going, shall we? Top of the shop. Is Timmy going in his stripy trousers? Away he goes. Top of the shop is Dawn Lynn. Good evening, all, from a sunny, warm Wales. Good evening. It's good to see you at the weekend. Am I coming through okay, or am I a bit?
No, you're good.
Okay. Evening all, says Maggie Thrussell. Evening. Sarah Lou says, hi, everyone. Been missing you all. It's been a while, isn't it? It's been a while.
We've missed you all too, but we've been a bit busy.
Hi all. Oof, we're so looking forward to a live with everyone. Hello, hello, hello.
Hi, Aston.
Yvonne Doig's here. Hello, Yvonne. Sarah
Hi, Yvonne.
says, having no lives, I feel like the work bestie has been on holiday and today is the first. I know what you mean, though. Oh, we've missed you as well, actually. I have to say.
Yes, we have.
We love doing these.
And when we don't make it, we feel guilty.
We do. Dawn says, still on a high from the workshop at Gawsworth. Yes. Sarah says, oh, I'm so jealous. It looked amazing. It was. She said it was, and the track is incredible. Therese is here. Hi, Therese. She says, hello, hoof lovers. I would like to know more about what kind of damage nails are making in the hoof wall. Is there a study somewhere to read specifically about nails' impact on the hoof wall? Well, yes. So there has been a study. Hampson and Pollitt did a study, and they were looking at, well, definitely Hampson. I'm pretty sure Pollitt was with him on it. And it was in 2019. Was it 2019 or was it earlier than that? Might have been, I'd have to look that up. It might have been a bit earlier than that. And what they were actually looking at this time, they were looking at copper nails, because for years and years, the farrier industry had been saying that nails cause no infection whatsoever. But of course, we know they do, because they used to say things like it's oxidation or a black around the nail holes. That's not true. It is actually black, a little bit of black infection. And so they were experimenting back in the day with copper nails. And now you find a lot of horses, well, particularly in the UK, I don't know about the rest of the world, are shod with copper nails. So Pollitt and Hampson, or definitely Hampson, Brian Hampson did in Australia, did some research on copper nails. And they did a scale of 1 to 10, 10 being the worst infection around the nail holes. By the way, I didn't know this question was coming up. This is just something I'm remembering. I can go and find it somewhere. 1 to 10. What are you shaking your head at?
Well, I'm just so amazed that you have all of this information in your head, and it's just freely available. And I have to say, you just put everyone else to absolute shame.
I'm a nerd. What can I say? I'm a nerd. I'm a nerd. I'm a science nerd. So they had this scale from 1 to 10, with 10 being the worst disaster around the nail holes and 1 being very good. So they were looking at things like the nails are sort of rectangular in shape, and when they're hammered into the wall, they keep their outline. So 1 to 5 was them keeping the nail outline pretty good, and then a little bit of discoloration as you got further up towards 5, etc. And then from 5 to 10, they started to find where the nail hole wasn't as easily defined, and it was starting to become damaged. The hole was getting bigger, in other words, because it does, right? when a nail goes into a hoof, or all this business about, oh, there's no such thing as concussion, concussive forces and vibrational forces, there are, because we see that in the shape of the nail hole, because the nail hole gets distorted. And so the nail is no longer sat nice and tight in there. Because it is actually, as you think about it, it's going through hard tissue, well, relatively hard tissue, and that foot is flexing and moving all the time. So they made this scale, and of all the horses they looked at, none of them were in the lower scale. All of them were in the upper scale, and they found that copper nails themselves did well. It wasn't significant, but it reduced in it kills microbes. Copper nails, but it will kill microbes, but it will only kill them if they go into direct contact with the copper nail. It won't kill them if they're just hanging around, like in the vicinity, like, oh, there's a nail, and I'll just stick around the nail, but I don't touch it. It doesn't kill them. It only kills the ones that are touching it. So towards the end, I think it was quite an eye-opener with the amount of damage that nails cause to the hoof wall. And at the very end, they said, well, we can't say really significantly whether copper nails are a benefit. We think there may be an increased benefit, but further research needs to be done. And we also think that nailing itself is actually detrimental to the hoof wall. So, and on top of that, they also mentioned that they can't, this was just a very pure, basic bit of research they did, and they don't know the effects of other hoof dressings and chemicals on the copper nails, because obviously little chemical reactions can go on. And so they don't know that either. So it was kind of, well, I say basic, fairly basic, but they came up with this scoring process of looking at the damage of the nail holes. So that is something to look up. And if Gary chats a little bit later on, I'll see if I can find it. I'll look for it. Okay. There you go, Trees. Lynn's here. Hello, Lynn. How's things?
Yeah.
How's the course going? Hope it's going well. Vivian's here. Hello, Vivian. How is it over in California? Trudy's here from Florida. Hi, Trudy. Where do you all stay? It is Trudy from Florida, isn't it? No, I have got that right. Hi, where do you all stay on the workshop? Tents? No, we don't tend to summit like that. We tend to stay in establishments with walls and toilets and showers. That's what we like to do, because it ain't very nice when you come out. Mind you, it was lovely weather. It's lovely weather. Some people have stayed in tents. It's not very often. It doesn't happen very often. Everybody see it, and accommodation, of course, is not cheap particularly. So it can be, swings and roundabouts. But you get to come to an amazing workshop. Karen Mackerson, hello. It's so lovely to meet you. So lovely to meet you.
Cheers, Karen.
Cheers. I've got my bottle.
Don't get a bottle of beer.
Yeah, I fancy that. I might just run to Timmy's fridge. Jackie Kennedy, good evening from Lanzarote. Welcome home, guys. Thank you. And I bet it's warm there. I bet it's windy and warm in Lanzarote. Mind you, it kind of stays roughly the same all year round, doesn't it? Hi, guys. Most of them stay. Oh, we have as well. Is that what you said?
We have. Yes, they have as well. Yeah.
It's lovely to see Angela. Angela was desperately trying to sell her horse box. She kept telling me to shut up, and I kept trying to sell it for her. But Angela stayed in Goresworth's car park, bless her, for the whole weekend. And she said most of them stayed in the Premier Inn. I stayed in my lorry. She's selling it. Thanks, Angela, says Trudy. Vanya's here. Hi, everyone. Hi, Vanya.
Good evening.
Angie Medler's here. Hello, Angie. Good to see you. Asha's
Good
going
afternoon.
to be looking. I saw your Canva thing, presentation photographs, and Asha is going to have a look at those for you if she hasn't already. She said she's going to. John says, travel lodges and the like. I think, Trudy, I was lucky enough to stay with a friend. Yeah, great. Thank you, Dawn. Angela says, it has taken me 2 days to recover. Imagine what we feel like.
I still haven't recovered.
My voice.
Lack of sleep and lots of traveling.
You think to yourself, it doesn't, you always think it's not going to hit you. We always think that. But we put such a lot of effort into these workshops. We really give it our all. You guys become immersed, so do we, as you know. And we become so enthralled and immersed in it. So I was doing really well on the Friday and the Saturday. My voice was pretty steady because we've got a PA system now, which was kind of, I kept playing with it, trying to move my microphone. And that worked because it meant I was able to just speak. But by the Saturday, it didn't matter, just the actual process of me talking. Can you imagine? I talk quite a lot. Can you imagine that? I do.
Never.
People have witnessed it now. They know.
Don't believe it. Don't believe it.
Vicky's here. Hello, Vicky. Good morning from Australia. Angela says, seriously, I haven't concentrated so much since I left school nearly 40 years ago. It's great fun, though, isn't it? You don't
want to miss anything, Angela, do you?
Karen says it would be the smell of all those cadaver legs. I know, because we put we had the
Poor
cadaver
Angela.
The cadaver leg bins were right outside Angela's lorry door. It's very inconsiderate of us. Angela Garberg's here from the south of France. Bonsoir. Good to see you.
Bonsoir.
Angela said, good job I couldn't smell them then. Good job. Dawn says, Angela, my brain had a very good workout too. Yeah. And you know, the thing is, I tend to say different things, and Gary says a few different things in the workshop. We like to bring in relevant stuff always. It's always flipping and changing a little bit. Obviously, the core message is there. We always like to bring in any relevant case studies. It keeps it fresh for us as well, because we don't want to keep harping on about all the same case studies. So we talk about other things as well, and any current research and stuff like that pops up. And we said, didn't we, Gary? We could honestly talk for a week easily. We could do a whole week's conference where all you did was just come and take part in little workshops, see loads of presentations. I could keep it going for well over a week, certainly well over 3 days. And Blake's here. Hello all, Suzanne.
Oh, yeah.
So we saw
Sarah
from New Moon.
We did.
And she said,
good to see her on the Sunday.
Your other horse. Oh, it's very exciting. Angela Holland, thought you were on holes. Oh, Uta's here. Good evening, everyone. From the Black Forest. That's not Black Forest Ghetto, is it? You're not just talking there with your face in some Black Forest Ghetto. You mean
that sounds
Black
good
Forest
to me.
Germany. I don't really like Black Forest Ghetto. It's good to have you here, Uta. So I went in my box freezer tonight to get food and had a casually move over a cadaver leg. Really need to get a second freezer. My family aren't even surprised at my antics anymore. I know, we are crazy people. Crazy people. So Bethan had her cadaver leg from a tree on her property, and I forgot it was there from the last workshop, and it was kind of just hanging there high up in a tree. And she said, we've got this leg hanging up in the tree. Nothing ever seemed to happen to it, and the birds sort of left it alone. So we took it down. Petrified is not the right word, because that's when something has turned to stone, isn't it? But it felt like it had turned to stone.
Yeah,
it had become
it was
mummified.
Proper rigid. What it was proper rigid, wasn't it?
But it wasn't just bones with the hair, skin on the outside. You could feel the tendons. I mean, we didn't dissect it because we ran out of time. But the hoof catchers. So you know what we did? know what we did? We decided to tie it back up in the tree again and see what happens in another year.
We did.
It's just a little bit of an interest. It's just a bit of interest. Monica, hello, Monica from Czech. Karin Martinsson is here. Hello, Karin. Hello from Sweden. Laura Jennison is here. Hi all. I'm from the UK, but watching from a holiday in Florida. Oh
my goodness.
Is it warm over there? Is this your first time, Laura? I'm not sure. But shouldn't you be on holiday and not really watching this? You should be. What are you doing? What are you doing watching this? Get off and enjoy yourself.
Mad person.
Go to Disneyland or do something fun. Sandra's here from Czech. Hi all. Hi, Sandra. Anne says, I am watching from the caravan. What caravan? The caravan down on the... Oh, I don't know. Oh, you're on holiday as well. Isn't it lovely? Laurie Yoda's here. Hello, Laurie.
Hi,
Good
Laurie.
to see you. Caroline Schilling. Yoo-hoo, from Portugal. Tracy Gray.
Hiya.
Hi, Tracy. Lovely to meet you.
Hi, Tracy.
Great.
Lovely
to meet you at the weekend. I hope you enjoyed yourself. Angela Holland says, oh my God, how many cakes did we get through? Delicious. Well, 16 is how many, 16, not 60. 16 cakes. I think I put the brakes on the first day. I didn't mean to, because I said, oh, what's everybody doing? Eating my cake? Because 4 cakes had gone before lunchtime on the first day. And I was worried that I shouldn't have been worried. We had 18 cakes to get through in 3 days, and we had 2 left. So we left them with Bethan. I don't know what Bethan's going to do with them. I guess she's going to eat them. I don't know. I think Cyrus said he was going to eat them. Jenny Ackerstrom is here. Hey, from Sweden. Good to see you. Laurie says, hello, from Pennsylvania, USA. Yes, hello. How lovely. I love it with people tuning in from all over the world. Hey, hello, from New Zealand. Hi, Joe. Good to see you.
Hi, Joe.
Okay.
Good to see you, Joe.
Oh, yeah, 16. I know, 16 cakes of different types. We had gluten-free, we had dairy-free, we had vegan, we had normal. That's right, isn't it? We had all different sorts. Okay, Therese says, thank you for the answer. I think you nailed it.
Awesome.
I just feel like to learn more about why metal shoes and nails are bad for the hoof and horse, so I can explain it to people then that thinks I'm just making up stories. I need to be able to show those people real studies. Well, that is most definitely a real study, and I'm not going to. I'll wait. And Gary might start talking in a minute. I'll go and see if I can find it. Most definitely, it was a real study, and I did quite a bit of research looking for studies on nails back in the day, and there really weren't any, particularly until the copper nail one started coming out. It's a funny one because the industry is so reliant on shoes that any research that's going to come out negative to shoes isn't going to be beneficial to the industry, really. I mean, obviously it's going to be beneficial to horses, but it isn't to the industry. And I think we also have to understand that when people say, where is your research and all of that, it's not easy doing research, and funding has to be sought, and not only funding, but you also have to have the right people that are reviewing it, etc. And up until incredibly recently, there had been some piecemeal barefoot studies, and I mean piecemeal, not particularly good ones. Bowker did one in 2011 where they looked at 7 Australian horses. I don't know whether they were Brumbies, but it wasn't a very good study because it didn't tell us exactly what they were doing, and it said they were doing a barefoot trim over a period of time. But what kind of barefoot trim? Because as we know now, most of them are PPT, right? Personal preference trimming. Most of them are not down to what the horse needs. So those kind of studies are not really useful to us nowadays because life has moved on. We know so much more now. So the ones that have been done haven't been very fruitful, particularly well thought out. There was another study that was done in 2014 2014, Gary. I think it was 2014, and that was Raimi. I don't think Bowker was in on that. There was a couple of X, etc. And they were looking at the realignment trim. And what they were looking at there was they had a bunch of horses. I think they had 12. I think it was 12, and they all had laminitis, but it was considered laminitis. It wasn't considered what we now know as true rotation caused by incorrect hoof care. Nobody really wanted to put their neck on the line with that. Even Pete Ramey, he sort of alluded to it now and again, but he never really put his neck on the line and kind of went, well, the equine world's getting it wrong. What we're saying is they are wholly getting it wrong everywhere. As many people saw on the workshop this weekend when they saw all of those shod hooves, you know, treat a horse as an individual, and we've got this array of shoes on these poor horses in such a mess. Far worse than what was happening with the barefoot horses. And it's so, there's such a spin on everything, because you get this spin with, oh, with a barefoot horse, you need to take the toe back, all this chopping of toes for breakover. Well, absolutely everybody on that workshop witnessed with their very eyes, and they measured them themselves, that all the shod feet, all of them were way longer, even with chopped off toes, even with the shoes set back, because they've got a shoe on, and usually they're left longer as well in the trim, so they're never usually trimmed down to the HSP particularly. Everybody witnessed it, everyone on the workshop. And all of this treating as which therefore throws all that out with the bathwater, doesn't it? So why are we chopping off? Already we've got a foot down to, well, let's hope, down to pretty much where it needs to be. And then we go chop his toe off. It's going to be way shorter. And what we're seeing is an uptick. We think we're seeing an uptick in osteonecrosis because of barefoot, in fact. Scary thing to say, right? I'm a barefoot advocate. I'm for the horse's natural foot. But because we have barefoot hoof care professionals all over the place, chucking their own spin on PPT, what we're having is an increase in serious P3 pathology. And that's because we're chopping off toes, dumping horses onto their soles, putting pressure on P3, not trimming down to the HSP, leaving heels too high, etc. So everybody in the workshop witnessed how ridiculous the whole, well, you've got to chop a toe off a breakover. And if a vet ever comes and says that to you ever again, and looks at your horse's foot and says, oh, the toes are too long, you go, are you having a laugh? Are you honestly having a laugh? Because we have data. We've been doing it now for years and years and years. And every single time we sit there with a bunch of shod horses and a bunch of barefoot horses, the shod ones not only are longer because they have a shoe on, but they're longer because they're not trimmed naturally either. It's so startling to see. So, and yet those are the same people that keep going on about breakover. You're like, honestly, 9.7 centimeters, 9.7, 9.7, over 9.7 centimeters, 8 centimeters, all up in the top range, instead of being more down in the bell curve where there'll be like 7 centimeters, 8 centimeters, 6 centimeters. Those are sort of more the average. These horses with feet that are way longer than they should be. So it's fairly crazy. And the only opportunity, I don't know where I started with this, but I've gone off on a tangent. And the only opportunity, right, okay, here's something else. So people go, I've got a shod horse, my friend's got a shod horse, I see shod horses at the livery yard, but you never really get in and have a look at them, do you? Well, when you're on a workshop, and when we're on a workshop with 50 people, because that's how many people we had there, pretty much everybody's got a cadaver leg with a shoe on, and we put them down and we stick all these, you don't get to see that many feet with shoes on. We do. And you see them all. And then everybody's sat there looking at them going, oh, that's bad. And what did we see? Proud nails. Not even, let's have 3 nails this side, 4 nails that side. Or we might have 3 nails both sides, and these 3 are a bit forward a bit, maybe 2 of them are a little bit forward, one. They're not symmetrical, and that they're put right in the area of the Therese. This is good for you. You use as ammunition. They're not symmetrical. They're put like random, and so from one side to the other, and they're put in the arches in the areas that should be passive in the horse. It causes a tremendous amount of problem with vibrational forces, with the fact that it's concussive forces, active and passive wear patterns tipped upside on their head, back to front. Absolutely like it's dire for horses. And then you've got shoes that aren't balanced, and you've got heavier shoes, and you've got smaller shoes, you've got heart bars, you've got egg bars, you've got ones that are set back, you've got shoes with pads on, you've got shoes with casts on, you've got, honestly, it just keeps going on and on. Hospital plates.
Plate.
Oh my God. Oh, I put that up on the HM page, and everybody's going,
it's not
yeah.
funny, is it? It's not funny.
Hospital plates are there to keep in, you know, you put a shoe on because you have to have a shoe on. So that's no good for a healing foot. You've dug a blooming great hole in the foot for whatever reason, sometimes abscesses, keratomas, whatever. And then they stick a hospital plate on top of the shoe. Well, that's not a particularly great seal. And you can look underneath it and look at the gaps and see the frog. And if that is meant to keep in or protect the foot and to keep in those rancid antiseptic swabs and reliant on the owner to unscrew these bolts every day, take it off. I said to everybody watching, it's like trying to keep mosquitoes in using sheet fencing. You're not going to get rid of it. So it's a misnomer, it's an oxymoron, a hospital plate. Ooh, it's got a hospital plate, so therefore it's better. Actually, we got a picture of it, Gary. Do you have a picture of it somewhere? Do you reckon you could find it and then you could share? I'm going to go back through some of the.
Hold on a second. Let me have a look.
I know I was on a road to saying something.
I think it was Asher that took the picture.
Definitely was going. I ran that way down that road of nails. I'm sure I was going to say something that's gone. Oh, I know. Going back to the research bit, it's piecemeal, not very good research, bits and pieces here, poorly executed, terribly executed. Equine research tends to be anyway, because it's so full of variables that you can't control. It's really difficult. There's so many variables that can affect the outcome. But more recently, of course, we've had Agria pet insurance with Peder Fredriksson, Ingvar Fredriksson, Lars Ropstroff from the Swedish Agricultural School. And these people have been doing, of course, this, were doing the research after the Tokyo Olympics, because Agria insurance company are going, how come lots of horses have loads of problems and you're winning gold medals there? And they told us that could never happen. We don't know anything about horses, but we do know about money. And we are going to be being forthcoming with our insurance money if you're deliberately putting metal shoes on the bottom of your horse's feet, and that's going to predispose it to having bust tendons, bow tendons, problems. So, and ligaments, of course, bust ligaments, suspensories, etc. So that type of research now is starting to come out, and Agria put quite a lot of money into that. And the data is now gradually coming out, and of course, hands down, it beats shoes. So those kind of pieces of research coming out. It used to be, didn't it? With the weight of research, which was poor, but even so, on hoof care, terrible. So many variables. They used to say, aha, you've not got, aha, prove it. Well, now we're starting to. Everybody's all getting a bit like, ooh, don't like the idea of that. But Therese, honestly, I could go on and on about the detrimental effects of shoes. Come to a workshop. You'll hear me talk about it. That's why I've got no voice. Jade's here. Hello from Minnesota. Awesome. Hello, Jade. That's brilliant. Libby's here all the way from Shetlands. Gosh, Minnesota to Shetlands. I love it. Gundiga's here. Hello from Latvia. Gundiga, I sent you back an email today. Thank you for your email. I've sent you back an email. Please go read it. There's a link in there. We'll catch up. It was a great email. Thank you so much. Put lots of effort into that. I appreciate it. Sarah says, why does the bar travel around the apex of the frog in some cases? Hamish always had this through years of farrier hoof care, and I was told it was a cob thing. I've now carefully removed it, but wonder why it grows as such a neat ridge instead of the whole sole growing at the same rate. Okay, well, that's simple. The bar is wool, and the bar material is everything is growing towards the front. The solar plates come up and they sort of migrate forward a little bit as they're being compacted. And the bar material, the true bar, keeps growing up and then it lays over. And then if it's not addressed, that material grows itself forward with the rest of the sole. So it's a sort of mixture between accreted bar material and sole, but it's not true bar. True bar remains exactly where it should be. It just gets longer, so it distorts our perception of where it should be. But true bar is always where it should be, and it's not quite halfway down the frog. That's the end of the true bar, heading towards the apex. So what you're seeing with all that bar material is accreted bar material. It's not true bar, but it gets hard and it can form a lump, right? Two lumps either side of the frog and the apex of the frog. And when it runs all the way, as it keeps going forward, and with some horses it can get a bit squished down, but most horses it forms this sort of lump as it migrates forward on both sides. And if it carries on, that accreted material, which just needs exfoliating, goes right around the apex of the frog. Now that bar material is should be in the, if you like, in the bowl, right at the bottom of the bowl, next to the frog, at the top of the dome, if you like, when the horse puts his foot down. So it doesn't get the same kind of wear that the outer parts of the sole and the hoof wall, etc. get. It's not, because horses don't necessarily wear everything exactly evenly. So consequently, it grows, and particularly in cobs, it looks big, but there's a reason for that. And that's because cobs notoriously have more horn and frog, slightly bigger feet. And people just, like with big drafties and with big horses like Shires and Clydesdales, rarely are they trimmed correctly. Rarely are they trimmed right down to the hard sole plane. So what happens is not only are the walls and the heels not trimmed down to the hard sole plane, but I'm sorry, I'm just yakking on here, Gary. But the bar material isn't. But the bar material isn't trimmed down to the hard sole plane either, as you found out, Sarah. And if you leave it just a little bit longer than let's say you've got thoroughbred and you've got a drafty. Thoroughbred is going to be quite easy to trim, right? Every time you go. But the drafty is like, oh, such a lot of foot. So it gets left. And it accretes and it builds up and builds up and builds up until eventually you are struggling to get it all up. Once you get right down to the hard sole plane and you trim like that every 6 weeks on a maintenance trim, you control it. You start to control it. It's because people don't trim. So the previous hoof care professional wasn't keeping on to it. So that's really what it happens. It's giving you this false sense that somehow drafties grow quicker or grow more. It's just they've got bigger everything, haven't they? So that's why it just appears like that. So as Dawn said, good question. Angie says, great. I forward to Asha response. Look forward to Asha's response. I'm hoping that using Canva makes it easier for you as it was easier to put together for me. How do you manage all your photos? I like Canva, Angela. I do. I used to and still do, put all of my online consultations and all of my trims and all of that in folders on my computer. But now when I'm looking at them, I use Canva, and my most favorite, and I think Gary's favorite design, when you create a design whiteboard, because it's infinite, and we love it. Just click on whiteboard, it just brings up this page which is infinite, and we just chuck photos on there, and we can put photos on top of each other, we can put x-rays on top of each other, and that's my favorite. You can date
them in order, and then once you've put them in some kind of order, you can play about with them and see a bit of a history. Oh, it's just so quick and easy. It's just amazing.
I think we should show stuff from the workshop to these guys tonight, don't you?
Well, I found the image of the hospital plate. So do you want me to share that?
I'm sure someone else has got more photos as well. Let me just go and have a look in here.
So this is the one that was posted online. So what was happening is that what they thought was happening is because there was this big crack here. But you see this little hole here? When we actually took this hospital plate off, there was a big crater underneath. And oh my goodness, the stink. I think everybody stepped back 2 paces, didn't they, when the hospital plate came off?
They did. I wonder if anybody's got a picture of what it was like with the hospital plate off. It was coming towards the end of dissection, wasn't it? And to be honest, because we've only just got home, I'm now in the photo gathering stage. So gradually over the next sort of few lives, we'll start bringing you things. So we do have what it looked like underneath there, and it was rancid. Just sort of furthest away, the 2 bolts furthest away, in between those 2 bolts, they dug out a massive great hole. And what's so sad is these horses don't need to die of this sort of thing. But it was mightily infected. It obviously it either had a wound, or because looking at that crack there, or it had an abscess, or it was a carrot, or whatever. But they don't need to die of this sort of thing. This is a sort of thing that a child might do to keep infection in. This is ridiculous. So you put this sort of thing onto it to keep the swabs in place. And then the horse goes and stands in a stable all day long. So they're not moving, they're not getting blood circulation. And like I said, it's like putting sheep fencing up to keep mosquitoes out. You know,
well, there was gaps everywhere, wasn't there? There was gaps everywhere.
Gaps everywhere. This was rancid. So to think that if a vet says to you, we're going to put a shoe on and then we're going to put a hospital plate on, don't be convinced that that's the be all and end all to keep infection at bay. Oh my God, no. It's not just going to not keep infection at bay. It's also a really poor, a silly thing to put on the bottom of a horse's foot that's trying to heal. Now, one of the things they'll say is, oh, it needs a shoe on because it needs to hold the foot together. Feet don't fall apart. Feet don't fall apart. But because you never try it, you never do what we do, you never see it. And they're always usually trimmed incorrectly anyway. So this sort of, you know, 8th grade carpentry, 8th grade metalwork is not really how we should be treating animals going forward. And that was another one lost. So that one died. Having that owner spent probably a fortune with those vets and farriers. They tell you, oh, it really works. No, they don't tell you all the darn failures that they have. And this is just one of them. So it's just grim, really.
It is.
Do you want to say anything more about that, Gary? I'm just trying to look, see if I've got any photos of it.
I don't think so. We didn't actually we took the plate off, but we didn't actually take the shoe off. Like we said, we were running out of time. But to be quite honest, there wasn't a lot to do there. There was a bit of flaky sole inside. And like I said, there was this big crater that had been created by people. And there wasn't much space for anything else. It was just a big crater inside. It was, I would probably say that it was about that big, right in between those two bolts, almost to the center of the foot, not quite. There was that big crater, and you can just see the little edge of it there. So what's the hospital plate doing? You've got a hole here and you've got a big hole here. And then you could actually look through at the heel bulbs and you could actually see through. So what's that helping? It's not helping anything, is it?
No, it's just...
Hopefully like we'll have some more images to share with you with regards to that.
I'm pretty sure Laura took some video as well. So we'll have that. And depending on how we get on, I might show you some other pictures of something else as well. All happy and no blame, not lame. Got to get on the live late. Hi, everyone. Good to see you, Lydia. Glad you're here. Susan says, hello from Silly Hot Wales. So lovely to meet you, Susan. It really was. Thank you so much for lovely chocolates. I can tell you... Oh, look, we've swapped sides, Gary.
We've swapped plates. You swap over.
What? I can tell just how much work you put into that amazing workshop, but how smoothly it ran. With 45 plus excited warriors and the astonishing amount of stuff we experienced, that doesn't happen overnight. We're well practiced.
We are. We've been doing this for many years.
That takes planning and skill. It does indeed. And I don't think I'm responsible for any of that.
I don't think I am. I'm Ash's assistant. Asha takes responsibility. Asha takes responsibility for organising us. We get shoved in the right place at the right time and says, right, do this. That's us. That's us.
Asha's been on so many workshops. I remember last year, was it last year? Yeah, it was when Asha had gone to Tenerife and we had to do one or two workshops without her. Honestly, we thought we'd had our arm chopped off. We did. Asha was messaging us going, oh God, you're so useless. It looks like we're doing it all, but it's not. In the background, Asha's organising everything. She's the one, let me tell you that. Jeanette says bonsoir. Sorry, she says a bit late. It's all right, better late than never. Judy Dirth is here. Hello from Wisconsin. Hello. Hi, miss you guys in the lives. We missed you too. We're back. We're doing Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. Gary isn't here tomorrow or Friday. So I've had a thought. I might bring somebody else on as co-host. I don't know yet.
That's a good idea.
But I'm going to bring somebody else on as my co-host that you can meet. So thanks for that. It was really interesting to notice the bar growth. Now I know what I'm looking at. Hamish's feet are so different with just 2 trims. I know, right? After 16 years, my boy finally has he should have always had. Sad to see what he was walking on, but amazing to see what I have uncovered. I don't think I'll ever get bored of learning about hooves. It is an addiction.
It is an addiction.
And there's no medicine. There's no medicine.
No.
Sorry.
Sadly.
His heels have literally come back a whole 2 inches, 2 inches of extra hoof to walk on now. Oh yeah. Oh that's God, cool. Didn't we have some conversations, guys, about P3, the DDFT, the frog? Stare at the hoof. Stare at the hoof. Stare at the hoof.
I'm really tempted. Now, I might be told off for this. I'm really tempted to share an unedited video.
Cool.
I'm I'm really tempted. Or should we just tease till I come back on Monday?
You can share it, and it's got no sound to it because I'm gonna use part of this video and create an It's Not Rocket Science video, because I feel like I haven't done one of those in such a eons of time. So I'm going to do It's Not, but one from my desk. But you might like to see this. Some of the people at the workshop saw it, but everybody else.
I've got to find which one it is. Oh, that is that one. Because I've got several.
Dawn says, how do you remove very hard folded over bars? See this here? Up there? Back there? Grease that bit. Just grease that bit there. That's what you do. Sharp knives. Sarah, so I responded to this in the HM page saying this image was heartbreaking. People were laughing at my comment, couldn't even respond to the ignorant. I know. I know, Sarah. Don't worry, we keep moving forward. We just keep moving forward. Let the noise get drowned out. That's what we do. It's hard. It is hard. Doesn't matter. Let the noise get drowned out. Grit and determination. That's right, Dawn, with grit and determination. I'll post up Hamish's before and afters. Good. Please do, because that will really help people. Really, really will. I need more muscle power. You get it. Susan Garver says, hurrah for Asha. Brilliant job. Thanks so much. It was great fun. It's lovely having you. Really, really was lovely having you. And we think that there are going to be at least 5 people from that workshop who are wanting to go on to become pros. Isn't that fantastic? And I tell you what else was so lovely. What else was so lovely there was we had such a broad range of ages from all age groups, and from little Cyrus and Freya, who were the son, and Cyrus, Bethan's oldest son, is 13, and Freya, I think, was 12. She came with Susie. And then, of course, we had Merrin, who was there, who was 15, who wants to become a pro. It was just brilliant. Watching these kids just go, well, it's obvious. If honestly, to a kid, they go, but it's so obvious. The world has overcomplicated it. The world has just overcomplicated it. Laurie says, your laminitis webinar was so beyond enlightening. Grateful heart and expanded knowledge. Deep gratitude extended to you and all that you do. Thank you, Laurie. That's really lovely to hear. I forget about that little webinar, you know. Gary and I did that a little while ago, and I forget that we have that there. I don't forget it, but I ought to go back and watch it. Do you know what happens sometimes when Gary and I watch stuff that we've done in the past? We go, oh, it's quite interesting, isn't it? It's quite
we do a lot.
It's quite informative. They're quite good, those people. I will get WD-40 out then. Grease, elbow grease, and eat spinach. Judy says, did you have any 75-year-olds? Well, I didn't go around asking the age of people. I don't think we had anybody who was 75. I don't know, though. But I don't think so.
No.
I don't think so. But we have had, in the past, we have had, we even had, I remember, what was his name, Gary? The chap that came to he was into heavy horses, that came to the Scotland clinic.
Oh,
Charlie.
Oh, Charlie, yes. Very tall. Yes, very tall, very gentle. Gentle giant, just like his horses.
He had to be about 73, 74, and he kept saying, I would so want to do this course. I want to become a pro. Oh, he was a lovely man. Such a lovely man. Okay, go for it, Gary. You ready?
Yes. Well, thank you for holding the fort, because this particular video, it wasn't on my laptop. I had to go and get it off my phone pretty quick.
Have you got it now?
I got it now, yeah.
So other than for the people at the workshop, let me just give you a bit of chat here. So people at the workshop know this. You will be the first people from after the workshop to see this, and then we're not gonna put it out publicly, excuse me, until I've done that's not rocket science lesson with it. But we'll kind of give you a brief explanation.
And I'm talking over it, so I'm going to switch the sound off because I'm talking gibberish.
And the other thing to say is,
I can't guarantee that I might swear.
Yeah, or Asher might swear. The other thing we have to say is that we are in an unusual position in the entire world. I don't think there is anybody probably who goes through as many cadaver hooves as we do, with the amount of workshops that we do. And so we get to see all sorts of hooves, and we never know what we're going to see. Obviously, we don't know. And this workshop, we were specifically looking for certain hooves, and one of them was rotated P3s. We were looking for hooves that would have had rotated P3s, and we saw a few of them. And this particular hoof, we had the whole horse, I think, but this particular hoof, we thought that this would be an excellent demonstration of incorrect hoof care and why the DDFT is not responsible for pulling P3 through the capsule. Take it away, Garen.
Okay. So obviously this foot, you can see it's pretty Coke can-like, isn't it? And the coronary band is almost horizontal. So we know that that pedal bone up here is going to be in sort of this position. Really quite positive. Yeah. So we did something a bit special with this foot for the naysayers. I'll just shut up for a bit and you can just watch. So there I'm just fiddling to make sure that we've got what he was walking on. You can see that the toe has been removed, and then I've trimmed to Mother Nature's constants on only one side. So you can see how far those heels have come back. And that's how his foot would be when he was on the ground. I'll just give it a minute and I'll put it into position.
In one trim.
And that was all done in one trim. You can see how they've just been taking off the toe all of the time. Totally unnecessary, not a great help whatsoever. And now I'm standing it up on its left-hand side. Is it left-hand side? Now, obviously, there is separation there still, which you can see here. But you can see I'm down to the hard sole plane. There.
What do you think of that, folks?
Comments, please. Oh, you've got 7 minutes and we have to go.
Say that again?
We got 7 minutes and then we have to go.
Do we? Oh, yes.
No, we don't.
Hang on. I got a good video that you sent me as well. Let me see if I put it in.
So is that the one that we did the other front?
No, I think this is the same vid, but this one is where you're just showing it towards you. So, because I'm going to use quite a lot of these. Let's just see if we can. It's a bit like where, oh yeah, there it is. It's a bit like, it's the one with 20 seconds. So it's this one. It's a bit like,
oh my goodness, sorry to interrupt. Susan Garvin has just told me that I am 76 and rising 77. Never. You did so well, Susan. Just goes to show. Just goes to show. If I'm as good as you at 77, I'll be happy.
Well, that's, I'm shocked. You look amazing. Can I please be like you when I'm that age? Please, 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 please. Wait till I tell Timmy. Honestly, you and Timmy were quite good friends. I think he loved watching. Timmy loved watching you and Emily together. He kept going, oh, I love Susan. I love Susan and Emily. Because he was sat over your side, wasn't he? Right, let's just have a look here. Okay. Can you see that?
Yes.
Just turn the sound off. All right, ready, everyone? I have to, if I make that smaller, does it make that smaller? Oh, yeah, look at that. Right, here we go then. Let's just play this so you can see it. So on the left there, you can see the very high heel. Look at that. You see? What a difference incorrect hoof care makes. Do you see? Let's just stop.
And we also did the other front leg where I actually did exactly the same, but this time, so I trimmed it on the right-hand side of the foot and got it down to the hard sole plane and the heels where they should be. Obviously, I couldn't do too much at the toe because it was chopped off, and then I chopped it in half. Oh, here we go. Well done, Lindsay. So this was really to highlight. Now, this hoof wasn't as quite Coke can-like. It was, but it wasn't as exaggerated as the first foot. And this came off the same horse. So that goes to show how different the feet were being looked at.
You see those massively overgrown bars under run heels. But you see, we didn't go for the toe. We just went as far as we needed to go to exfoliate that sole. No, I'm sure. I must have the pictures. I must have the pictures somewhere. It's like I said, we're still gathering all our data together. I say data, or our photo data. I'm
not finding them.
I've got another one here. Let me just see what happens here. I don't know. I haven't watched these. So here's another one. Here's another one. Okay. Just showing you the heel height there. And that increase in surface area. So you can see why incorrect hoof care is the problem. And we must have some with the pictures on the inside, Gareth. I don't have them on my phone, but somebody must have.
Yeah, we have. Asher definitely took some because I actually opened it up and stuck it onto the pallets and stuff. I just can't find them. So they must be on Asher's phone.
Becky Bragg says, mind blown. Joe Cook says, see feet like this every week. So sad, but 4 I'm trimming are doing amazing. Fantastic.
Fantastic.
Angie says, wow, I look forward to the It's Not Rocket Science lesson on this. So do I. It was amazing to see. I think everyone gasped. A great video, says Therese. Brilliant. Gasped. Amazing, says Monica. Yeah, and it's not good enough to just say, no, it's just overgrown. No, that's not good enough. Because that horse was walking around on that. Everybody but everybody would have recognized that it had obviously too long a heel, of course. Well, I say everybody, obviously clearly not the people who had been trimming that horse, because you could see the toe had been trimmed. What were they doing? But even with a little bit of that heel taken down, they would x-ray that foot and assume that it was the lamellar attachment mechanism had failed and the DDFT had pulled P3 through the capsule. And in just one trim, we can show you on one foot how that is not the case at all. And am I back? Am I back? What happened?
Oh, you are back now. I thought I was going to have to get my jazz hands out and get up and do a jig. Yeah, you're back.
The problem that we have.
Oh God, we've lost her again. Is she coming back? Is she coming back? I have no idea what she was going to say, but I think with that particular video, with the first one, it's really great, and we know it's an extremely long, elongated foot, but it really does highlight that if you follow Mother Nature's constants, you do actually put everything back into the right positions. Now, when we see the still images of the ones that the one I cut in half, you'll see that the heels are really, really high and the pedal bone is tipping forward. But on the side of the same foot that I've already trimmed, the pedal bone is back into a much better position. But you can also see in it that the pedal bone is disintegrating. So you can see that there's osteonecrosis going on in there as well. So that will be something for you to look forward to and to, to see on future posts and so on. But like I said, we haven't been back long, and so we're still gathering all of our photos and data. Okay, so I got a little bit to say at the end. Bless. Oh, look, Tara's saying, quickly, Gary, now's your chance. She's quiet. Don't be rude. What have I missed? Only came in from doing the track. Well, you have to catch up, Bethan. Thank you so much. We had a great weekend, and what a lovely time we had with you and your family. It was great to be all encompassed in everything that we do together. It's awesome. Well, I'm going to say cheerio. Lindsay's back with you tomorrow. Now, I might be back if I'm back home from being out with family. So you might see me tomorrow. If not, I shall see you next week, which will be Tuesday. Okay, so you take care, and Lindsay will be back with you tomorrow. See you soon. Take care, everyone. Bye.